Hi, my name is Adnan Hasbi, and I'd like to welcome you to an episode of the Rambling of an Analyst. I guess the date today is, I think, the 24th, I think. Yeah, the 24th of October. Time right now is about 12:15, midnight already. One of the reasons why I'm shooting this episode so late at night is that I've been receiving, I've been reading news which was relatively, disturbing about where our country is kind of heading towards. So, I guess to the normal format of this episode is I'll do a quick recap of what we've been talking a little bit, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the biggest news which was announced or Malaysia is planning to do. And what Malaysia is planning to do is that they are looking towards, I guess, instating Malaysia as a state of emergency in our country. So, real quick to recap, what I've been talking on this channel is number one, if you have been following me about a couple of months back, I remember covering, I guess, the airline sector. And at that point in time, I remember talking a little bit about how, with the lockdowns, people cannot travel, number one, and also there'll be a drop in people's earnings or people's salary. And one of the things that people may cut is, luxury spending, and one of them would be traveling. And with that, we could see that the income for many airlines kind of dropped during that time. And I still remembered at that point in time, I also talked a little bit about how other businesses, if they were to interact, or how other businesses, when there are lockdowns happening, should there be lockdowns, it'll be very difficult for businesses to communicate and also to interact with consumers. And with that, when businesses find it difficult to interact with consumers, what will also happen is that profits will also drop. And at that point in time, I had a very strange feeling, or I forecasted that the unemployment rate within this country may increase in the coming months ahead. And the second thing which I said was, if we go back a couple episodes, is that quite recently, there was a relatively senior political member. He said that he garnered enough support. And at that point in time, I still remembered that he had a press conference. And when that press conference happened, we could see that there was a major sell down in the stock exchange. We could see that the KLCI actually took a dip. And to be fair, I talked a little bit about why this happened. And one of the reasons why is that when there is a change in government, there'll be a change in faces. And when there are change in faces, people are going to have new ideas. And when new ideas are implemented, there'll be new, I guess, winners and also losers within the stock exchange. So if we are an investor and we have really taken a position, we don't want to take the risk of holding certain stocks post the change in government. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people got spooked out with this announcement, and there was a major sell-off in the stock exchange. After that news happened, the weeks after that, I still remembered the news portal was always, they had news about certain politicians saying certain things and other politicians saying other things. And it was not the most, stable, or it didn't give a very good perception of our country being politically stable. The third thing which I also said, just to recap, was they had a by-election over in Sabah. And when they had a by-election over in Sabah, I still remember that the COVID cases were relatively high. And at that point in time, I did mention that political machineries will all descend in that particular state. And when when political machineries will descend in that state, there's going to be a lot of intermingling. There's going to be a lot of interaction and talking and whatnot. And I had a forecast, or I had a feeling that should Should more people intermingle, and should the SOP be, I guess, changed or be a bit relaxed? I remember talking a little bit about this worrying thing, or I forecasted that there will be a spike in the, I guess, the number of COVID cases. And lo and behold, if we look at today, we could see that there's an increase in unemployment, number one. Number two, we could see that there's a spike in the number of COVID cases. And in fact, right now I'm locked in, I guess I'm locked in. I stay in Klang Valley. And yeah, I just cannot get out of my house really. I'm going half crazy. And the third thing that we can see is that with a lot of political instability, we could see that the stock market has been going down and down and down and down. So I guess to tell you guys, the live participation on this channel, to tell you guys the truth, when I first started this channel about 4 or 5 months ago, I remembered having all of these opinions on the market, and I remembered having very strong opinions. And when I was looking at all my other YouTube peers, a lot of them were like, don't worry guys, the market will always rebound, you know, we should always average down, we should always keep invested. Me, on the other hand, I had really strong opinions on things. You know, I felt like I was the crazy one talking about stay away from the market for the time being. The market will be bumpy, the market will be not stable. And I remember telling all you guys, I said, stay at the sidelines for the time being. And yeah, and the data which came out actually proved that what I kind of forecasted actually did happen. So we saw the KLCI continue dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And if you guys were to stay at the sidelines, you guys would have already not have, I guess, a drop in your, or you will not record any losses for your portfolio, right? So, okay, so with all of the recaps which I said, right now I'm going to talk a little bit about Malaysia planning to announce the state of emergency, right? So when that news happened, I don't know whether you guys noticed, but the KLCI fell, okay? And one of the reasons why, as we already talked on this channel, is that there is political instability, the first thing. And the second thing is the backdrop of the country is that there is not much of resuscitation plan to actually bring our country out from this particular pandemic. Rather, there's always been plans just to give, I guess, bantuan prihatin instead of helping our country move out from here, right? So there's no catalyst to actually kick our country out or out from this particular downward spiral, okay? So with that being said, we can see that the conversion of all of these three things, number one, political instability, number two is the increase in COVID cases, and the third is the increased unemployment. All of them, I think, converge in today's announcement, which is, I guess, the country is planning to do a state of emergency, right? So right now, with all of this data, we can see the KLCI going down, going down, going down. What should one do? I think I talked about this in maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago, whereby I said that if you want to be invested in the market, this is how one should do it, okay? Break your investment portions into 10 or into 5. And one of the reasons why I said that is that I expect the market to continue dropping lower and lower and lower and lower. And why? I think post the numbers, or post the COVID cases getting lower and lower, or post the government controlling the COVID cases, what is going to happen is that there is also an economic impact on this. And when there is an economic impact, what will happen is that we as investors would also feel it. And that is one of the reasons why I said break our investment portions into 10. Okay. And I think the sectors which I am really looking for investments right now is, these are the 3 sectors which I'm looking at, and I'm sharing it with all you guys out there. The first sector which I'm looking at is the financial sector. One of the reasons why is that the financial sector has been taking a beating. with the moratorium, right? You can see a lot of banks, their stock price has been going down and down and down. And typically speaking, banks tend to give good dividends. And if we think that the economy would rebound anytime soon, banks will be one of the first few sectors which will rebound in tandem with the economy. So right now, as the economy is going down, banks are getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And when bank stocks actually go down, what will happen is yields would increase. And when dividend yields would increase, that would mean that every year, when the banks declare dividends, you as investors would get a higher amount. So that's the first sector which I'm looking at. The second sector which I'm looking at is the travel and hospitality industry. I'm looking towards investing in hotels and also investing in the airline industry. Okay. Over here, I'm not talking anything about AirAsia. I'm talking about I guess the hotel owners which have a very strong parent. If you look at certain hotels, they have, I guess, connection industry which I'm looking at this point in time is the third industry which I'm looking at right now is the property industry. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, whereby right now, with a lot of property stocks dropping and dropping, one thing is for sure is that land will not depreciate, or land will never drop in price. But if the stock price drops enough, we look at the price to the book value. Should the price to the book value indicate that the price of that particular stock is oversold, that is when we can actually buy some property stocks that would give, I guess, that in time when the whole economy were to turn around, that's where we can gain, I guess, the upside from the turning economy. And one of the stocks which I mentioned, which I like, is I guess I talked about the merger between UEM and also the Eco World. And one of the reasons why I said that I like this stock is, number one, the parent company, Khazanah, has a very strong track record towards creating values for its investee companies. And number two, if you look at the current CEO of Khazanah, he is a turnaround expert. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually looking towards the merged entity. So I guess with that, I talked a little bit about I guess what has been bothering me. This couple of weeks has been crazy. The whole environment. I do apologize for I guess going off tangents. I think one of the reasons why is I just couldn't sleep. Looking at this data, and I think, as you guys know, and looking at all my previous episodes, I read a lot of information, and I read a lot of information. The way I guess our country is moving, it's not looking at the best right now. And I think one of the reasons why is that for our country to fight and to compete with the new economy, I think the first thing that we should do is, I guess, invest in our education. The second thing we should do is also invest in new ideas, invest in talent. At this point in time, I can see more and more talents kind of leaving the country. And it structurally, it looks not the best. So yeah, I've been staying up this past couple of days, just looking at the data, and it doesn't look so promising. I have to tell you guys the truth. But having said that, always stay positive, and I already highlighted a couple of stocks which I'm investing in. These are good companies, and I'm going to invest based on them having a strong cash flow. And I know, and when days become brighter and as the market turn around, these companies would definitely benefit from the market turnaround. All right, guys, I'd love to thank you guys for being a live audience. I love you guys for giving me the thumbs up. I love you guys for the questions I've been receiving. Adam, if you are going to watch this episode, I would like to thank you for that particular question. And I'm going to answer these questions moving forward. Should you guys have any questions right now, please do ask. Know that I'm always reading your questions. Know that I want to tell you guys, I guess, the most truest, I don't know. I want to give you guys, I want to share with you guys what I really feel. You know, I could take the route of being a very popular YouTuber and say things which really resonate with the crowd. Sometimes I feel like I'm the crazy YouTuber which has very strong opinions on things. And you know, ethically speaking, I cannot bring myself to say something popular just to get views and whatnot. I will always look at the data. I will share what I think is right. Okay, guys, I know I'm rambling. I know it's already 12:30. Yeah, that's how I get when it's too late. So I do apologize. Thanks, Xinjiang. And thumbs up to you. I'm sorry if I butchered your names. Thank you, guys. Next time in the future, just make this interactive. You know, tell me that you guys are okay. And thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate all the likes, all the love, and all the support I've been getting. Guys, take care. Let's make money together. Let's get out from this particular crisis, all thriving. With that, good night, everyone.